Where do we begin? I think that's the goal there, to be honest. That hockey was phenomenal. Oh, we're sponsored by, well, a man can dream.
A man can dream,
Wow,
but we're moving on to the second round against the Battle of Alberta. Let's go!
Hey, Bruce, there it is. Bruce, there it was.
St. Louis decided to just blow up completely in the trade deadline.
I wish it wasn't Adam Fox.
It's two juggernauts just colliding with each other. If he doesn't beat Tampa in the first round, he's out of a job.
Isn't that weird? Boom! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Puck and Stuff podcast.
Woo!
Round 2 has been completed. Round 3 is up next. 4 teams remain.
Round 3. Fight!
Who's going to win it? We don't know.
Dun,
All we
dun,
know
dun.
is that we're going to make a podcast and talk about it. B-Dog, how you doing today, good sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm loving some playoff hockey, and it's been a little bit of time since you and I have been on the podcast talking about hockey, because honestly, we just need a little break just to chill out and watch some of this. But boys, we got a lot to talk about. And before I start this episode is sponsored by, well, a man can dream.
A man can dream. No Canadian teams again.
I was going to say, funny enough, you will notice in my background, I do have Canadian teams on the wall, because we won't have any more Canadian teams in the playoffs anymore. 30 years. As T-Dogs thinks there's 31.
Oopsies.
Whoops.
I can't do math.
Hey, it happens, man.
That's how it be, eh?
It is what it is.
I mean, we can blame Bettman all we want, because it's probably Bettman's fault. I don't know.
Oh, 100% is. 100%.
Maybe have more competent management. I'm
Maybe.
just thinking,
Maybe.
like, I mean, when's the last time, like, most of these, like, Canadian teams that we, like, follow have had competent management that's actually cared about a winning culture instead of a 8 seed or nothing kind of thing.
It's really sad to think that Montreal is like the last team to really have a finals appearance in 2020, when really no one was
True.
watching.
bad
That's why
that I
everyone
don't-
forgets about it.
Is it bad that I don't really count it because of how weird? No, if I
No,
count
that was harder. That was harder.
You're right. That's true. Yeah, good point. And
The bubble was harder.
And if I count the Tampa Bay Cup win, then yes, I have to. Sorry, Habs fans. I'm a salty guy. I don't know. I remember watching that Canucks run in 2011 so vividly still. I remember how much fun it was for them. And I had fun watching it. I kind of wish, like, I remember being in BC in spring break during that Chicago series when, like, Burrows scored that goal. That was awesome. That was so much fun to, like, watch. I just wish we could recreate that, especially with, like, the Flames one day.
Someday.
One day.
Okay, honestly, I love talking about old playoffs, but now I think we should stick to the present. And D-Dog, what's our first conference finals matchup? I want you to take the honors.
I'm going to say the one that ended first, Carolina, New Jersey. Good series. Wasn't my favorite. But you know what? I think the better team did win.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. New Jersey, you couldn't pick it up. I saw you were trying to put Valak back in for that one game, and dude, he got absolutely it was a bad game for him, and they had to put Schmidt back in for the last minute, and it just wasn't worth it at the end. But hey, Carolina, welcome back to the conference finals. We haven't seen you here in a while. No Rangers to worry about. You got Florida. Now, we've watched Florida throughout these playoffs. First round against Boston, no one thought they were going to win. They beat Boston in 7. They came back 3-1. No one can argue that. That was one of the biggest upsets. Round 2, you're versus Toronto, who finally got over the hump of the first round against Tampa, and you beat them in 5. No one was expecting that. Everyone thought you were bringing out the brooms. Since I've been making TikToks on each round, I was going to make a TikTok against Florida and Toronto. I ran out of time because the series was already 3-0.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be swept tomorrow, so whatever we had was useless. I just had to wait until we did this. But Toronto, what? What the was that? You had all the momentum, but you couldn't get her done. Oh, did you see all their star players just did not show up for the round? Like,
how much money are you getting paid for what?
God,
Just lack of offense production, man. And that's the
literally.
problem. Like, that's the problem with the Leafs. I mean, like the
Consistency.
the team does not perform when it needs to. You know, and changes are gonna have to be made.
Oh, 100%.
You know, of course, the Leafs being the Canada's biggest market, locker room cleanout day was just covered by every inch by Sportsnet and TSN and all that. And
Yeah.
I mean, what do we got from there? Dubas says he doesn't want to. He only wants to GM the Leafs, but and won't GM anyone else. Nylander
Awesome.
wants to sign there. Matthews. I just don't know how you're gonna do it in the long run. Maybe somehow, but I'll be honest. I've been saying this weekend, man. I think this should be Matthews' last game in a Leafs uniform.
It's
Why
kind
I
of
say
funny
this?
that.
But why I say this? Gaudreau situation. Do I have to say anything else?
True.
No, I mean, I will go into it, but like, you know what I'm kind of getting at when I mention that. I feel like I've seen this play out before.
Oh, I'm gonna say long term. Totally. I'll stay in Toronto
Yeah.
forever if I want.
Well, I guess Matthews. Yeah, depends.
You think he's going to Arizona?
Maybe you shouldn't take any car rides. But seriously, I we'll see what happens, but it's gonna be a struggle, and I mean, this is concerning, the amount of times they failed in the postseason, and a lot of it's because when they're needed most, the guys who are paid the most money to do the job of scoring the goals aren't doing that job. I don't know what you do with that. You know, on Saturday I tried the cat friendly simulator of trading Matthews. Dude, I was dumbfounded, man. I don't know what you do. I really don't know. All I know is just get some deaf guys and sign Evan Rodriguez.
Oh my God. Well,
He'll probably resign with Colorado.
If you think about it with Toronto too, in that sense, you got basically 3 guys getting paid over 10 mil. You have Ryan O'Reilly's contract, which you still technically cut in half, but it's still Ryan O'Reilly's contract. It's huge. And then you look at William Nylander, still, I believe it's almost 9, right? If I'm correct, like 8.8.
I can double check on cap there.
Yeah, but with this point is, like, obviously you relied on this core to take you far into playoffs, and obviously that your chances are running up very much right now because you can't get it done. Like, congrats, you made it past the first round, but there's three more humps you at least got to make to win a cup. You really do, and I don't see Toronto getting it done anytime soon unless they make a huge change here for sure.
Nylander is 6.9 per year for
oh wow,
years,
really?
Which it's a great deal right now. We'll see what his contract will probably be more, of course, probably in the 8 range, I'd say.
Well, that's why I think he leaves them because he probably won't.
Yeah, like with how much you do, it's gonna be a struggle to run it back.
It is going to be a struggle.
The one player that I really was impressed with the entire series, and he's always been a solid defenseman, Morgan Riley. I mean, you don't want to trade him, but if you have to come to that, like, you get some good value off of him.
Yeah, but you don't want to trade your best defenseman when you already know your defensive
don't.
problems are already at its worst.
Of course you don't. But, like, if you were to trade someone, you get probably the best value out of that. It just every day, 11 for Tavares doesn't look that good, man. Matthews 11-6 looks great when he's actually scoring.
Yeah.
Marner's 10-9 looks good when he's actually producing points, and you know, a solid contributor on your top 6, sorry. It's tough, man. I mean, we'll see what happens. And I mean, so offseason is going to be exciting because there's a few teams that are going to be, you know, just we don't even know what's going to happen to them. Ultimately, it was a disappointing end to Toronto. I'm sad. It's unfortunate that they only could get it to 5 games. Florida was just a better team. They are playing with some momentum. Oh my goodness. This Florida team is honestly everything a cup team needs to be. right? They're gritty. They're tough. They're rolling all four lines. Everyone's contributing. Your goaltender is playing phenomenally. Defense is looking pretty efficient. Everyone's dialed in. Everyone's bought into to what they're trying to accomplish. Good for them.
Hey,
Toronto,
Flames fans. Hey,
Toronto
Flames fans. If you haven't heard it yet, Matthew Tkachuk has made it farther with Florida in 1 year than us in the last few.
So just
Let
think
that
about
sink
that.
in.
But
Sorry,
just think about that though. Like, what happens if like Bennett and Kachuk and like Ryan Lomberg, win this certain championship trophy we call the Stanley Cup? Like,
I think I'll like it, but hate it. I would hate it so
dude,
much.
I don't know how I feel, man. Like,
But I would feel so happy.
I'd feel happy for Bennett. Bennett deserves it.
I mean,
man, like,
I would just feel hurt if Kachuk just literally left after 1 year and then he wins it with Florida. That would hurt so much.
dude,
We would lose that trade instantly if he wins a cup.
well, also
I know we already have basically,
well,
but dude, that's just
also
odd.
Hoobie's better. Why do we do that?
Because we thought at the time he was, but obviously this season that wasn't the case because Kachuk adapted so quickly to their system and we were just full of excuses. We gave up our young prodigy left winger for the next 5 years.
But I also want to say something too, though. The effort that Kachuk is giving out right now and the heart and soul he's putting into these games, don't think I ever really saw it that much into Calgary or as much as I have now. So that might be something to say too, but maybe I'm just biased.
Maybe just a little bit. But
something like that.
Honestly, I think we should get right into our first talks of this matchup, Carolina and Florida.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna mention how I never even reviewed the Carolina series.
Oh my god. Okay, let's get into it. I think Carolina, Florida. T-Dog, what are your thoughts of the matchup and who is taking the dub into the Stanley Cup Finals?
This is a tough one because Carolina has the pieces to make it all the way. But man, then your third round opponent is a team that just has all this momentum coming in.
It's pretty close, man.
They got nothing to lose. I think Carolina is the one that would have to be the one with nothing. Sorry, Florida is the team with nothing to lose. Carolina is the one with something to lose just because your core has been the same for a few years now. So you lose, it's really a setback. I mean, I don't think there's too many problems with your team and cap compliance or anything. But if it's a time to win, it's time to win right now, I think, for Carolina. I think, of course, the window does decrease every year. Not saying that this is a last year, not at all. I like these chances. This is going to be such a hard-fought game. I think these teams actually are similar in how they play. Carolina seems to be more defensive-minded than Florida. But hey, don't get me wrong. They can score and they can put the puck in the net. And they have depth scoring, which has helped them so much these playoffs. Atmosphere is going to be crazy. Carolina does have the better fans or louder fans, so that might be something to take into account. So maybe home ice advantage will mean something this playoff series.
They probably the deeper you go into playoffs, it does. So
this is what I see. For Carolina to win, what you've been doing with all the other series, just be dominant in every aspect. Take care of home and take advantage of home ice advantage. And I don't see why not, because I think Freddie Anderson has been playing absolutely awesome hockey. Now, Florida, if you can spoil them at home, no reason why they can't win. No reason why they can't. So this is tough for me. I don't know who to predict, so I'm going to let you talk about it before I make my decision, because I really don't know what to think.
Okay, so if I'm going to look at it, I'm going to look at Carolina's perspective first. So Carolina obviously has been dominant through this whole playoffs, as you can say. They beat the Islanders, they beat Jersey, and now you're versus Florida that has still the probably most momentum out of every team in the playoffs right now. Still with the Boston win and the Toronto win, and now you're here in the Eastern Conference Finals. Bobrovsky is going absolutely ham and net. I still think there will be a big case for Florida, and Matthew Tkachuk and Barkov are still looking great, and their depth is also still looking great. Carolina does have some key injuries, though, to two top wingers. That is still kind of concerning, but they've dealt with it ever since the playoffs started. So, I mean, it's still working for them. You are really starting to see as well with Brett Burns, his playoff experience in this series.
Yes.
In the last few series. Their defense looks really strong, 100%. And you also got to look at Frederick Anderson, who came back the last series, and he's still looking as dominant as he left. I think that's like three big key factors for Carolina in this series. And dude, again, like if Florida can just take, like you said, if Florida can take those games at home in Carolina, this series could be over really quick. But honestly, I've been betting against this team the whole playoffs, so I'm actually going to give Carolina in 6.
Okay.
I'm confident in that.
That is fair. Let's talk about how. Would you consider their defense underrated? I've never thought they were underrated, but
Carolina's?
Not a lot of people talk about it for some reason. Like
it's kind of was like Calgary's situation where like they were so good but not talked about, so they were considered underrated. But realistically, I don't think they are.
Like, why is it that Jacob Slavin is never talked about? The dude is such a phenomenal defenseman, and $5.3 million for 3 more years.
That's a steal defenseman.
That's a steal contract, man. And then you had Burns as well, Brady Shea, and then Gostisbehere's like regained his momentum this season. Brett Pesce, Kelvin DeHaan, Dylan Coghlan, Jalen Chatfield. So a few, they're not young in the NHL career sense, but prime age. And then Maxime Lajoie is your 7th there.
I honestly still believe that Carolina is a very good defensive team. Probably better than Florida on how playoffs go.
And I think that will determine for Carolina, as well as taking advantage of home ice. Florida, of course, if you can just score a lot, then you're chilling. But I mean, come on, we have to we can't not give credit to like Brandon Montour, right?
Oh my God.
Been pretty good as well. Imagine this Florida team with Mackenzie Weegar still. Like that would I would have already, but even before the start of the playoffs, I would have put Florida as a favorite to make it a pretty deep run. Anyways, enough talk from me. I need to actually figure out.
You need a prediction.
Prediction, man. I've been going with Carolina all the way with every series. But some about this momentum and this storyline just feels fitting for Florida. And I don't know, man, because I like Florida in 7.
Florida in 7. Wow. Okay. So, you were literally taking Carolina in every series they've been in. But nope, you switch sides.
I think a part of me still thinks Carolina will do it, but at the same time, like I've doubted Florida every time. So you and me just did the opposite, where like you never pick Carolina. So
yeah. Actually, we're like, well, I've doubted this team the whole way. Why not switch now?
a little bit of parity. So that's what we'll take. I don't know if I like it really, but hey, you know what? New cup contender, perfect.
This is actually, I really do like this conference finals because we are kind of seeing a little bit of difference here because like Carolina obviously has their struggles and Florida was getting kind of stopped by Tampa every second round. So this is the farthest they've made it in Barkov's era.
This is very true, right?
So
this is the Tkachuk era, buddy. What you talking about?
So new cup champion coming from the East potentially. So that is nice to see.
Isn't parity in your sports league nice? NBA. It's great.
Thanks, NBA.
But yeah, anyways, the Western Conference. I mean, I think I would like to start honestly with the game that just ended today and the series in Seattle and Dallas, which I thought was honestly, in my opinion, the best series. just my opinion of this round. Sorry, and I just think it was because it was close, man. There's a reason why I went to 7. Yeah, my dark horse is looking nice.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. But dude, I gotta give a lot of credit to Seattle, though. No one still expected you to go this far, and
100%.
a hard 7-gamer against Dallas to end it off. Round of applause
I was
for
gonna
the
say,
Kraken, man.
let's give a gentleman's clap.
That was great.
Good job, Seattle.
Oh, okay, yeah, but dude, the Kraken, I couldn't have imagined this conference final being 2 expansion teams in the last 4 years.
Dude, bro, I was thinking in my head, if that happens, I will be I'll be sad.
I would just be disappointed.
I am a jealous fan who's never seen third round success with my hockey team in my life because I was too young to see the 04 series. So
we
that's
were
why-
alive during it, but doesn't mean we got to see it.
dude, I wasn't conscious. I don't know what I was doing. All right, and then Dallas.
Stars!
Dallas Stars.
Stars!
Unger had some good games. Good game 7. A few games that weren't going his way. Usually the games, of course, that the Kraken won. Which is kind of odd. But you know what? Every goal is gonna have a bad game. But I thought he was gonna be good for what they needed. If not, I don't think they would have won the series. I think Miro Heiskanen is a phenomenal defenseman. Just phenomenal. Gets better even with the cage on his helmet. The young guys, right, and Dellandrea and Johnson have contributed significantly. Pavelski, right, some leadership there. The addition of Max Domi is great. He plays with a lot of heart. Robertson, I don't think was was not as significant as I thought he would be, but still really solid. All I know is this Dallas team has, to me, what it takes to really make a splash, and I think that's what we're already seeing. And at the end of the day, that game 7 did come up to who's going to be that better team that game, and it was them. Which means that they're clutch in those scenarios. So we'll see what happens against Vegas. But yeah, Dallas is again, that's why I picked them as my dark horse. And then the other side of the Western Conference, Vegas and Edmonton. I don't know why we wrote out Vegas. I don't know why we did it. Like Eichel makes him just deep, man. Like Eichel plays a great game. He doesn't play a game that I always thought he played. I always thought he was good as a flashier guy, but he's a great back checker too. He's just got a great two-way game. But he's as well too. He knows how to make plays, and he can put that puck in the net when he needs to as well. I mean, he was defending McDavid pretty well in that series. The end of it, Edmonton is a great team, and you know what? They'll be back. I really think they'll be back. But Vegas, man, is just the better team. Better goaltending too. Brossoit goes out with an injury. Like Vegas injuries, how funny. But Aiden Hill really picked up the slack, man, and good on him. As well too, Edmonton, they kind of like lost steam. Draisaitl scored all those goals in the first 2 games and then didn't score any in the last 4. Not a lot of pressure for McDavid, to be fair. I think a lot of them are injured, so that might be a big cause of reason as well. But at the end of the day, Vegas just played the better game over Edmonton. I mean, they could stop the offensive rush, and they didn't succumb to too much. They weren't really that disciplined, but they disciplined themselves when they needed to be. And that really worked out in the end, right? And then, of course, when you don't have as many penalties, not as many power plays for the Oilers team that are power play merchants, as it seems. And kind of went on through there. But man, Vegas, that solid 6-game win. I said that, man. I was like, this series is close. It should be a 7-game series, but it's gonna end in 6. It's just how it's gonna go. And it did. And it went for Vegas. Yeah, game 5 really was that deciding factor. It really was. Yeah.
First thing I do got to say, though, about the Edmonton versus Vegas series, though, Edmonton had so much expectations, especially their fans had so much expectations for this team because obviously, as you saw from last year, you went to the conference finals and you versus Colorado and you just got beat by Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar. They went to the finals. The next season, your fans' expectations for the Oilers were finals or fail.
Finals or bust, yeah.
Yeah, finals
why
or
not?
bust. There's no in between. And you looked at the Oilers season. They upgraded the defense. They look so good on paper. McDavid had a breaking season record of points. Same with Draisaitl. Skinner was looking good in net. Campbell had his little moments, but he was still kind of trash. And you guys were kind of being cocky the whole way going through the first round, being close with LA. And you show up at Vegas's door and you got smacked right in the face at home. 5-2, the final in game 6, and you're out. Now you know how Flames fans' expectations are every time. And we only get out in the second round.
Flames subreddit was funny, man. All these Golden Knights fans and Kings fans are all in there. They're all rejoicing. It was pretty funny, actually. But I gotta mention too with this series, I don't like how these games are reffed because they put the whistle away at the third period. So I guess that's how the game of hockey works now, right? Like the refs will put the whistle away, determine on how the game's going in the period and stuff, and that's how it is. That's a specialty of NHL hockey. But it's a little annoying when you see, Ekholm was drawing blood with a high stick, man. Some blatant stuff could have get 4 minutes. It ruined the flow of the game. I mean, Vegas played amazing trap hockey though.
True.
Should also mention that though. But just annoying. I'm done hearing this rough stuff. Like I've been on it the entire time. I'm just trying to watch it at this point.
Well, because if you look at it, I can understand by a hockey fan's point of view with reffing of obviously it is sometimes a good thing when the ref puts away the whistle and just lets the guys play. But I've seen through these playoffs that they put it away at the wrong time. Sometimes there are those calls where it's like, why is that not a penalty? I get why you want to put away the whistle during a playoff game, intense third period like this, but come on, some of them were pretty bling calls. But Edmonton, you can't blame everything on the refs. The Leafs already do that enough. So,
but that's true. But
we don't need two of you.
I mean, Edmonton got some lucky breaks too this entire playoffs. But what I've been saying about the reffing this entire season is just it's inconsistency. The playoffs, we expect the whistles to go away completely, especially if there's an overtime or Stanley Cup Finals. Please put it away. They didn't really do that. So yeah, you put it away a little bit and some things will go for sure. But we found out at the start of the first round that they're going to call a lot of things. Cool. So that's how it's going to go. That's fine. But then the inconsistency comes where you're calling calls, but then you're not calling certain calls. Yeah. It's like, okay, just be consistent with it. That's why we're going to get mad at it. Like, I don't know. It's just it's always blatant with Canadian teams, though. I think it's just, bigger fan base, the louder guys, the louder fans, right? So, of course, it's always going to be like, oh, a missed high stick. Oh, yeah, you're going to hear that on Twitter. It's going to happen.
Batman hating Canadian teams, you're going to hear that every time a Canadian team is eliminated.
But the refs weren't the reason why the Oilers lost. Simple as that. I mean, goaltending, as much as I've been defending it for Edmonton this season, was not good enough. I don't know why Campbell wasn't put in for Game 7. I really don't. But Skinner just looked fine, and then he'd have some really crappy moments for a few minutes, like the 3 goals that he let in the Game 5 against Vegas. Edmonton had the momentum.
I'm not gonna lie, from your statement with the goaltending situation, Edmonton, I wouldn't say it was obviously great, but you gotta also realize it is improvement from Mike Smith.
Oh, it 100% is. And as well, Skinner is young.
Yeah.
Why don't you just run? That's why I think you run this Oilers team back, do a little bit of tweaking and stuff, of course. But why not? I mean, now you have more experience. Maybe the experience is what you needed.
Maybe the team will probably run it back, but who knows if Draisaitl and McDavid don't want to run it back with them? Who knows on that part?
I mean, they have a 3-year window now. It's 3 years. So
true. But as As much
Round
as you
four-
want to talk about with Austin Matthews potentially leaving Toronto, Edmonton, you're not far behind on that talk with Draisaitl or McDavid, with
that is
especially
a good point.
contract talks.
That is a good point. It's more of course prevalent with Matthews, but yeah, Draisaitl's contract is slowly creeping up.
Yeah.
3-year window. You've third rounded it, you've second rounded it. So let's see what you do in the next two. I think it's
You're
2
going to
years.
first
To be
round it.
honest.
You're
So
going to
we'll
get
see.
first rounded it.
We'll see what happens.
Do you want to give your prediction now, or are you going to let me say what I
For sure, yeah, I'll give my prediction right now. So again, both teams, I think playing with a little bit of house money for say. A little bit of history here from the 2020 bubble. Different teams, of course. It's a tough one again. These both are tough. Like Vegas looks like a cup team. They really do.
Yeah.
But again, Dallas is my dark horse, and I think that they have a chance to, make it. It's a tough one, man. I think this could also go to 7. Is it possible that we could have both conference finals go to 7 games? I really think so.
Ooh, dude, that would be so good to watch. Oh,
I really hope it does. I don't think it will because, anomalies like that are weird. But, I think it'll kind of be like that Oilers series where this series will be kind of almost determined on that 5th game. And then game 6 will kind of just end it all. That's what I think. So, you know what? I have to stick with the dark horse, man. Dallas in 6, even though it should be 7. And why? I think the goaltending will show up for Dallas that series. And I think that's gonna determine a lot. I mean, we'll see what Vegas looks a little injured though on the front lines as well. I'm not counting them out at all. Because there's a lot of scoring depth there too. The Ivan Barbashev pickup was fan-freaking-tastic. Just beautiful.
Chef's kiss.
We'll see how that goes,
Wow.
right? But you can tell Mark Stone's a little injured, man. I think Petrangelo's injured too, so that might affect the back end.
Injuring people or injuring
Both.
people, or he's injured because
He'll
he
do
looks
both.
like he's doing both.
He'll do both. Shea Theodore had a weird series, man. Like it was not his series with Edmonton, so maybe he bounces back. But I don't know, man. I'm thinking Dallas will just squeak it by.
Fair enough. Okay, so now since I've actually going to start talking about this kind of matchup, Dallas versus Vegas, both teams obviously have been just absolute machines throughout the playoffs. You look at Dallas, everything is finally going right for Dallas. Their young core is finally developing the playoff experience it needs. The veteran guys are obviously with so much playoff experience are coming out big for this team. Jake Onger is having some stellar games. He's looking much better after, I would say, the first round for sure. And I could totally see why T-Dog thinks this is a dark horse team. Mm-hmm. Then we look at Vegas. Vegas obviously had a very fun first round with Winnipeg for sure, ending that in 5. And then they versed Edmonton. And honestly, I thought Edmonton would have gone the best out of them after, I believe, game 2? Yeah, it was game 2 when they came back and just absolutely beat the out of them. Yeah, it was that game. But Vegas, congrats. You beat McJesus and Draisaitl. That's a lot more than what the Flames could have done. So I'll give you props to that. Eichel looks good. Petrangelo looks dirty as hell this playoffs. Like, dude, it looks so bad. Oh, it may be. Like, dude, that looks so bad. But if I'm just taking that all away, this team with star power is absolutely still looking nuts. And on paper, throughout the season, Dallas has actually had the better stats than Vegas, especially when they play them. They haven't won a game against Dallas in the regular season this year. But T-Dog's got his dark horse in Dallas, and mine was low-key Vegas after Colorado fell out of the first round. So I'm actually going to take Vegas in 7 here. I could see them do it in 6, but I'm going to take the safe bet in 7. Mm-hmm. I really like to see Jack Eichel get to a final with Vegas. As I don't think Vegas will win the final, but we'll get to that point.
Before McDavid, oh my
God, could you imagine? But Yeah, I mean, everything's looking right for Vegas. Like the star power's there. Sure, they might be having that injury struggle, as you said, but you look at Carolina as well, and they're not suffering as bad as people thought. So maybe it could turn some heads for sure. But yeah, I got Vegas in 7 against the Dallas Stars. Vegas versus Carolina for my Stanley Cup final matchup.
All right. Yeah, so you Vegas, Carolina, me Florida, Dallas. Okay, so we just swapped.
Yeah, we completely opposites here. So
You know, I don't mind. The only one I don't want is Vegas, Florida, to be honest. So any of
no,
those other ones I'm fine with.
yeah, me too.
I think yeah, this is this is why I love the parody, because we haven't seen something like this. Can we relate to, well, of course you can't relate Vegas and Dallas, really. I mean 2020 maybe, but it's not like, when we think like, oh, like remember this series they had like 16 years ago? We can't do that with any of these teams, really.
I mean, with
Um,
Dallas and Vegas, I guess they played in the bubble and Dallas went to a
yes,
final.
yes.
So we have seen this situation before with Dallas winning.
I don't, yeah, and not Carolina, Florida. But all I know is all these teams deserve to be where they're at, and it is going to be a bloodbath for each series. Cannot wait.
Same here.
Honestly, I like one game a day. It's easier to consume. Like it's hard to be, man, you're busy, right? It's hard to watch like 2, 3 games a night.
But sometimes it's really nice when you could just like, oh, damn, commercials. Oh, wait, there's another game.
Yeah, good.
But hey, guys, that is our Stanley Cup predictions for the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. I hope you guys did enjoy this. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, and please subscribe. We're almost at 250 on YouTube. We're still going strong on TikTok, so the support is awesome. We love seeing it. And T-Dog, take her away.
Hoorah! Like B-Dog said, thank you very much for watching, listening. However you are consuming this content, if you didn't like it, smash that like button. Leave a comment down below. Comment question of the day for y'all is, who do you guys think are making it out of each conference? And that winning team, are they going to touch the trophy?
Ooh,
I like to
that's a
see
good
that one.
question.
We'll see how that goes, okay?
Okay.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for the support. We love doing this, and keep watching some hockey. Getting good. Always getting good. Anyways, guys, keep on rocking in the free world like Nardwar says, and we will see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Remember to brush your teeth each night. All right, let's do that.
Peace.